You're not Terry.
Terry could never grow a beard like this, my friend.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's show, Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by our great mates at Top Sport. As you'll see, I'm joined not by Terry, but by my great friend Shinazzi, who's jumped on to save the day. And you'll probably notice something's a little bit different. Look, we're going to blame it on pesticides or something. You can jump to whatever conclusions you want, but the studio, the magnificent home studio, was not available tonight. So we're going to make do. Mate, Rugby League is back.
Yes.
Vegas round. What'd you make of it? Success or novelty?
Absolute success at this point in time. I was worried about novelty, but I think the big crowds and more importantly, the promotion, like just everywhere in Vegas that we could see, billboards, just the massive people at the kickoff event, the press conference, even my old mates at 360 and those sort of places, they got a crowd. And yeah, there's heaps of Australians there, but there were Americans there. I had American friends going, and I think it's so far a success. Yeah.
It was fun. I mean, yeah. I was pretty negative on this show and on other platforms saying...
That's unlike you.
Yeah, I know, right? Who would have guessed? Saying, look, it is a novelty and it's a, vanity trip for PVL to meet celebrities. Look, I still maintain there was a bit of that. But, I mean, you watch the two games, you see 40,000. We saw two quality games.
Yeah.
And apart from one thing that we're not going to touch on here because we're trying to keep it a bit friendly, that can be discussed elsewhere, it was a great weekend.
Yeah, and I think what you touched on, the two games, they were pretty good. For round one, that was the other concern. It was like, are we going to have guys who aren't fit, a lot of drop ball? It was pretty good. And I thought both winning teams really set the standard for not only the year ahead, but for their journeys already begun. Like, they look pretty good, Manly and the Roosters.
Big agree there. I was worried about the dimensions. When I saw it rolled out, I was like, God, it's thin and those in goals are real short. I actually think it could improve the game because round one, touching what you said, which is perfect, it's just a knock-on-a-thon. They had to go up the middle. They had to tuck it under and run.
You're saying we should...
No, I'm saying in round 1 and 2 we should because I feel like the games were better quality than we saw in round 1 last year, but they were 4 quality teams too. It's not like, with the greatest respects, we sent some struggling teams across.
Yeah, and most teams were at near full strength. I know South, for example, were missing some, but they still had some of the superstars out there and that would have helped. And I think there would have been some pressure to deliver, and they did. And I know that's easier said than done, but they did. Like, they were good games.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Would you support it moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of almost went this year for different reasons, and if the black, white and blue are there, lock me in, man.
See, I was saying at work earlier today that I probably wouldn't go because of the cost involved, but 10 years ago, you wouldn't be able to stop me from going. Well,
that is a deterrent for a lot of people, and myself included, but at least we can plan for it.
And it looks pretty good, to be honest. Now, a bit of breaking news, which is rare, seeing as we recorded several hours ago. Luciano Leilua last night at the tribunal had his 2-game suspension halved to 1. Now, those that don't know, he was... He failed to report a drink driving pickup or something along those lines. Bit too serious for this show. Had his suspension halved. Dragons fans are happy. I would have been happy as a Dragons fan if they doubled the suspension because I maintain this is a terrible sign.
I don't know about all that, Dan, but that sounds really hokey to me, having such a serious thing halved. It's either you did it or you didn't do it.
Exactly.
You're guilty or you're not. And that sounds weird to me, but it's the Dragons. Exactly. That's for later on.
Little brother and little sister, as we've agreed. Look, he
$900,000 a year.
Yeah, it's way too much. It's
a lot of pesos.
I don't rate the signing at all, but it's the Dragons, so
He's okay. Like, he can play, but
he's fine. The Dragons are fine. Doesn't improve him. He has failed to report something, so he's already been punished for. The integrity unit has said, you need to report this, and he didn't.
Right.
On the atrocity scale, it's way down there. But if the NRL have given him 2 weeks and he's gone, but I'm going to fight it, and they go, all right, we'll make it 1, why wouldn't you fight everything moving forward?
Yeah.
If the NRL say, hey, Shinazzi, you and I can't record for 2 weeks, and we say, well, look, good, but we only want to do 1, and they say no, 2, you're going to go, yeah, but this happened. It sets a bad precedent for me.
Yeah, it opens a massive can of worms, and I'll be following that story, seeing what else comes out of it, because it just sounds weird.
It does. The NRL took them, a week, and we're already talking about the agendas. But moving on, mate, there's a new issue that's gripped the NRL in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
I haven't shown you what I've written, so it's going to catch you off. Injuries in the shower. We saw Tommy Turbo absolutely get injured in the shower and not running down the Corso a couple of years ago.
Right.
And we've seen Cam Munster do the same thing this year. He's been named for round 1, but those shower injuries, mate, they can creep up on
So
you.
fill me in. What happened to Cam Munster?
Well, evidently hurt himself in the shower. That's all we've heard.
At home, in the sheds?
Look, I don't know. Not sure I want to know.
Showers
It's Cam. Cam Munster has a history, mate.
Showers can be dangerous. We all know that.
Look, they can, and I have no doubt after we do this, I'll slip in the shower later and miss work.
I'm not even
tomorrow.
making light of it. They can be serious.
That's true. We make light of it because it's a bit funny,
Yes.
but yeah, it can be serious. But he's been named. All will be sweet. Is
Out
what
of
we're
all
hearing.
the people in the world, I'd find it hard to believe NRL stars have trouble staying upright in a shower.
Yeah.
Me, you, other people, yes.
Yeah.
NRL players, they're magical superstars.
Look, they are, and they're, not unknown for strenuous activities in said showers and elsewhere. Mm-hmm. We'll move on quickly.
Yes, please.
Look, Teamlist Tuesday released yesterday. Some shocks for me. The 2 big ones, Jake Averillo and Bronson Xerri, both marquee signings, both missing from round 1.
Blake Taff at fullback. That kind of worries me.
If I was a Dogs fan, it would, yes.
The guy's got talent. He can fit into that 17. Straight up fullback.
Would you have named Crichton now?
I don't know what I would have done. I wouldn't have done that though.
Yeah, it seems looking back at it. I can't believe
Bronson should get it a shot.
he was their best player in the trial against Cronulla. He
ready.
ran for 100 and something metres.
I'm sure the reason would be, you need some more time to get used to it, but he looked pretty good in the trials.
Look, he's still young. Okay, he had 4 years off, and we don't condone what he did, but he's done his
How many
time.
games did he play for us? Like 40 or less?
Would have been, season and a half, so 25, 30 at
He's got
least.
experience at the top level.
I was shocked. I look at the side now. They've named young Wilson on the wing, and he had a very good back end.
Yeah.
Kiraz has been named. They're saying that Connor Tracy would have been named if fit.
Right.
Bronson, what's he, 5th cab off the rank?
I think he'll have some good New South Wales Cup time, and he'll be in there with a month, I reckon. A month.
Yeah, me too.
Those tackle busts, and he looks good. I know the joke going around is he's still doing what he used to do. I don't condone that at all. He looks fit and ready to go. He's done it. Speaking of guys doing his time.
Exactly right.
Holy smokes.
Set out for 4 years, but I was shocked he wasn't named. But Jake Averillo, who was the Bulldogs' best player last year by a long margin,
Yeah.
he has come in, and I thought, he and Herbie Farnworth are one of the best centre pairings. And Wayne Bennett, got a few more NRL games under his belt than I do, has said nah and gone with Tessie New.
Yeah, I would have gone the new kid for sure. I would have gone Jake for sure.
And I'm a big fan of Tessie's. I mean,
all right.
Bostock, though, has got a wing spot, and Jermaine Nazarko was the revelation of last year, top
Yeah,
point
the player,
scorer. I mean, super coach-wise is good because they got Bostock there, but Jake Averillo, mate, he was pretty much a lock for me.
So is he named elsewhere?
I think he's on the extended bench.
Okay.
But I don't know who they're affiliated with. Probably Redcliffe, obviously.
Was he their second biggest signing?
Probably third behind Flegler.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay.
But my God, their depth last year was worrying. Now you're talking about players of his quality missing out. That's a positive, but I would have named him.
I would have too. I mean, he looked good in a really bad team last year. I don't know if that brings him back down a little bit, but yeah.
Doesn't, but look, round 1, you got any crazy predictions for me? I just need one crazy prediction.
The Storms. I like the Storms this week. Friday Night Football.
Perfect.
They do not lose in week 1. Never.
Shinazzi.
Yes.
That's not the line, Shinazzi. Shinazzi,
Talk to me, Dan.
time to talk some black, white and blue.
Let's go.
That felt so good. Mate, the Sharks. What are your thoughts? What are your hopes? What are your dreams for 2024?
Dreams to win the title. Hopes are to make the finals and win 1 or 2.
Oh, that'd be nice.
At least. And just really excited for the season to kick off, probably more than I have been in the past couple of years, because I'm looking forward to the team righting some wrongs. A lot of knockers out there. People think we can't sort of make that next level. I'm here to say we can.
That's a good shout. I think this is the most excited I've been for a couple of years. Now, I know we had a real good year 2 years ago under Fitz and the excitement was there.
Yeah.
But you didn't really know what to expect. Rookie coach, halfback who had like 3 games at halfback beforehand. We know what we got now.
Yeah.
And I'm very much on record as saying we got some real talent that, not right away, but are going to be the future of this club. And I think we're at the part where we're just starting to see them become a little bit more than peripheral visions. I'm very excited. I would love to win a finals game.
Yeah, and I think we will. And that's Fitzy's whole thing is the boys need to get to 100 games. They're all going to get there sort of together. And then the premiership window in his eyes probably opens a little bit further. And we're at that stage now. They're all sort of reaching those milestones and they've played together for a long time. And there's just, I think the argument that, it's the same as last year, that's not even close to true. Same lineup, possibly, sure. It's different attitude. They've learnt a lot. A lot of stuff went wrong last year. We had a lot of injuries last year no one ever talks about.
We did.
Yeah, Nico Hines missed 3 or 4 games to start with. Will Kennedy missed the last 15 or whatever.
Yep.
That's major. So if that stuff doesn't happen, I think we're in for a really good year.
Yeah, if Kennedy stays fit, we beat the Roosters last year. I think that's pretty
Absolutely.
much. And the year before, if Katoa didn't get fit, I think we beat the Cowboys. So, yeah, if we could keep everyone fit. Look, obviously the big change comes in the half. We got Braden Trindle, who spent an entire off-season training with Hines.
Yeah.
He didn't get that last year. It was Moylan and Hines, and he got thrown in for 3 minutes here and a game there. He had to start the season, of course, because of Nico's injury, but had to play outside of Moylan, and they don't work together. They played okay, but they don't work together. This is a halves combo. I still think Cade Dykes has got a lot to say about that, but not for the first 10 weeks. I'm really excited, especially seeing how well they played together in the All-Stars.
I'm a big Cade guy as well, and I was very much in that thought as well, Dan, where I thought, a month or two and Cade will come in. I don't think that story has changed. Trindle showed us what he could do in the All-Stars game. He was decent for a guy in the second trial carrying a whole team.
Good point, yep.
And as far as I can remember, he hasn't really put a foot wrong for us. Started last year, even coming off the bench, I know he was trying too hard off the bench. Take that stuff out. The guy hasn't really played a bad game for us.
That's good shot.
He's young. He's had the off-season. Nico's next to him. Yeah, that's going to be a few sort of learning curves along the way, but I think it's his jumper for the season unless something horribly goes wrong for the team.
Yeah, no, it's a good shout.
And Cade will find his way in there. Like, I'm not worried about that at all. He's talented in his own right.
He is. I mean, ultimately you want 2 blokes who are fighting for the spot because then you can't go wrong. Yeah, look, I'm a huge Trindle fan. We've been calling for his inclusion for a couple of years. Now, Moylan did have that good year in the first year of Fitz and sort of go, well, you got to go with him again. But in hindsight, I wish he played all the games last year. His kicking game is tremendous. I think he's got the best boot in Cronulla. That's Nico Hines inclusive. I think he just improves it, and his defence is tremendous. Yeah. When he came in, our left-hand side wasn't one of the better left-hand sides in the competition by any means, but it was much stronger.
Yeah.
They've had a full off-season. Teague Wilton's back and fully fit. We haven't seen this combination go from the start, other than a makeshift role, of course. But I'm really excited about what they can do. Going to this weekend, the Warriors, it's a very difficult trip to get first up. What did you make of the side?
Of the Sharks team? I really like it. It's the strongest team they could probably name given the injuries they have. I like the fact Dale's on the bench. I think he can come on and rip and tear. And Hunt and what have we got? Hunt and Kafusi starting. Kafusi's been great in the off-season. Hunt had a strong finish last year. He looks good now. And I like it. I like it a lot. Teague's back. He looks fit and ready to go. So, yeah, there's not much I would change about it.
No, I completely agree. And I mean, I'm Cowley's Hero's biggest fan that doesn't have his surname. But he didn't do enough in the trials to force a change. We've named a big side. We've named a monster bench. I like the fact that Toby's coming off the bench and wasn't rushed back in because I don't think he did enough in that first trial to make me think, geez, he's ready to go. He will get that spot back. Royce Hunt, though, was our best across the 2 games, I think. had a short stint in the All-Stars, but ran from the back fence, literally ran a couple of blokes over. Kafusi was unstoppable, had a brilliant offload for a try. I think Beryl scored the first try up in the Central Coast. You couldn't have them. I love the fact Al's on the bench. I think that's the way it needs to be. Cam starting and captaining from 13 is exactly what I wanted.
Massive.
Tom Hazelton was an absolute must pick. And I take a bit of offence to people saying, oh, Jack Williams this, Jack Williams that. Outside of Nicker, he was our second best forward last year. People keep saying he's got an error in him. He, statistically, was our best forward error-wise last year.
Don't get me started, Dan. Like, people who knock Jack Williams, here's a big quote for you, they're not watching the game. I'm sorry.
Hey.
He's, without doubt, has been, over the past 3 or 4 years, season here, season there, our best forward. Amongst the superstars, the highly rich guys, it's been Jack Williams. So the handling error thing also is a myth, because if you look at the bad year he had, it was still something like 1 every 2 games. They might have come at bad times, no denying that. He needed to improve it. He has. Man, I hope we re-sign him.
Yeah, me too. He's probably the big piece off contract. And I know Hazelton is there and Kafusi's the other one. I hear there's a mutual option, but I don't know how mutual an option can be if the club says pack your bags. Not saying I want that to happen.
Tommy off contract?
I believe so, yeah. But Hazelton's on the sort of money that you could get it done tomorrow if you really wanted to. The big one for me was Colquhoun, because you can't convince me if they went 3 or 4 clubs going, geez, this kid's all right.
He's young, ready to go. So unfortunately he'll be out for a while, but he'll be back, and this stuff only makes you tougher, and I can't wait to see Colquhoun really just cement a spot. The coach absolutely loves him.
That's music to my ears. Do you think he would have been in the 17 if fit?
This week, yes.
Yep. I agree. And if you said, who am I dropping off the bench, take your pick.
I'm not sure, but I think if he wasn't there, he would have had 1 foot in the 17. Like, he would have been so close.
He would have been the 18th, which brings me to my, not my issue with the side, but my issue with the side. Kayleo's been named at number 18, which of course, those that don't understand means he will sit on the bench and wait for HIA. That's the role. I hate it. If he's not playing 80 minutes for Cronulla, he needs to be playing for 80 minutes for Newtown, because he's next man up across the back line, and I want him playing 80 minutes somewhere. Yeah,
I think he's a guy who can really use week in, week out football. He's still young, and what can he cover for us? 3 quarters, right?
Pretty much centre and wing.
Maybe fullback.
He's played a couple of games.
Which is awesome, but there's Dan Atkinson who can do probably that, as well as hooker, halves. You may see some tinkering there, Dan.
I dare say you will.
Maybe not, but we'll
the
see.
Newtown side that's been named is pretty strong. That Warriors reserve grade team is insane, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
This could be a grand final preview, hopefully.
Yeah.
I dare say there'll be a few changes. I think you'll see Euro play for Newtown. I'd be disappointed if he was at 18. I'm naming Atkinson, going to my head, or Huge Tukes, because I want him in and around that first grade team. But he's also someone I want playing big minutes for Newtown. So you can't really win there, but Atco, I absolutely agree with that. Coming into the season, though, we've said, making the 8 is the absolute minimum as far as I'm concerned. My minimum expectation is to win a finals. We should have won one last year.
Yeah, I think we should be top 4.
Who, outside of Nico, because that's a cheat code, is your player to watch that will kick us to that next level?
Oh, boy. I'll tell you who I'm a massive rap on, and I'm not the only person here, but I really think a guy like Britton Nikora is still to this day underrated, both by Sharks fans and the world outside. I think that his status will really grow in the next 2 years. What he does on and off the ball is unbelievable. I mean, that's a bit obscure saying a right edge back row is going to take us to the next level, but that's the guy that comes to mind.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Will Kennedy.
Fair call.
Yeah.
Nikora, though, you look at Olakuatu, what he's done for Manly, Kolomatangi for Souths, David Fafita, it's completely fair to say.
I just think that he's a guy that's been growing. He came in as a youngster. He's been in the system with us for a long time, and still relatively young for a footballer. I just think that his attitude just gets better every year. He's learning. He's getting more accolades, rep football, the whole thing. I'm pretty convinced I may be wrong here, but I think he's the first one that goes down on the team list. I really do. Before, the king of carrying by Nico Hines, I think it's Britton Nikora. I really do.
I dare say that when the next 2 retire or move on, I think Nikora might have the C next to his name for a long, long time. Great shout with Kennedy. Obviously, he's the one that we need fit and firing. For me, the player to watch is Teague Wilton. Copped a horror show last year in that he had to defend inside Matt Moylan, who, with the greatest respects, probably wasn't the game's best defender. I think that's fair to suggest.
He always tried hard.
He did try hard, always. But at a point, there were people in group chats that I'm in saying, Wilton's the error, he's this, he's that. And when Moylan came out that left side, missed half the amount of tackles. So I think you'll find his game will improve. He was so good for Newtown. We haven't seen things yet that he can do. We're going to miss Wade Graham. Obviously, Wade had come to the end of his career, and it's hard to replace one of the best left-sided back rowers we've ever seen. But I think Teague Wilton's going to go a long way. I still see him or Colquhoun being the lock and the other being the left side. You can throw Talakai in there. I think we're well versed in the second row.
I'd love to see Teague play lock. I think he's got that shape, that perfect shape, and I'm assuming he's got the skills as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely he does.
Yeah.
He played a lot of lock for the Jets. I remember talking to Toby a couple of years ago, Toby Rudolph, of course, saying that they put him in there to sort of go get your tackle stats up, and then they were like, oh, God, this guy's actually really good here. So...
Yeah, he, to me, he's got that prototype footballing body. Like, I just look at him and I'm like, you're a footballer.
Yeah, he's the one. Quick prediction this weekend against the Waz?
It'll be a close one, a tight one. I do like us. I think that we're out to start well. Like, we never start well. It's like 1 in 9 years or something. Under Fitz, thankfully, against the Drags a couple of years ago. But I think we're going to go out over there to win. I don't mind the fact that we're playing away over there so early. It's round 1. Anything goes. It's going to be tough. Their team's pretty good.
Their team's good.
RTS is back. Their forward packs, our boy Fanua Blake, I like us by 1-4.
Oh, I said on Fins Up, make sure you check that out too, please, that we'll win on a field goal in the last play because it'd be fantastic. Look, if we go over there and they beat us by 10, okay, it's round 1. It's the most difficult road trip. It's out of the way. We're never good in round 1. Round 1's a bit of a show. Dan. Look, no excuses, but I'm preparing myself mentally.
No, I think this is a new year, and from the things I've seen down there at training and the stories about the boot camps and that kind of stuff, I'm expecting a harder edge to this team. We saw it against the Roosters in the last game. I know we lost. Everyone knows we lost. Go back and watch how we defended. Defended so strong. Just little things like what was it, a ricochet from a kick and minor things. And we also obviously bobbled a few attacking chances. We finished the year strong, man. And I think we're going to start strong.
There you go. That's where you heard it first. Sharks by 40. Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us on this week's edition. As always, we're brought to you by our great mates at Top Sport. Just want to thank Shinazzi from the Sharkcast for jumping in. Terry may be back next week. He'll be back unless he stays in Bali again.
I'm happy to do this again if you...
Mate, look, let's just do it in whether Terry's here or not. Make sure you listen to the Sharkcast.
Please.
And Fins Up if you're so inclined. But until then, mate, we got some football to watch.
Can't wait.
Rugby league, baby.